I never thought I would replace my iPad mini. I mean, the mini has always been my go-to compact tablet for gaming, streaming, and even just browsing casually. But recently, I started using the Alldocube iPlay 70 Mini Ultra. And let me tell you, this little Android tablet actually convinced me to set my iPad aside. And the reasons really boil down to three things that matter most to me: playing games remotely, watching videos, and the price, which is a little too late already. But before I dive into my experience, let me mention this real quick. We have exclusive links in the description box where you can check current discounts for this tablet, and if you're new to the channel, I'm Renzo. I feature interesting and affordable tech gadgets here. So if that's something you're into, go ahead and subscribe for more. So let's start with the iPad mini. It's a great device, don't get me wrong. But one thing that's always bothered me is the aspect ratio. The iPad mini uses a 3:2 aspect ratio, and while that's fine for productivity apps or web browsing, it's not great for watching videos or playing games. When I'm gaming or streaming shows, the iPad mini leaves noticeable black bars on the top and bottom of the screen, and over time I realized that it was killing the experience for me. That's where the Alldocube iPlay 70 Mini Ultra came in. It has a near 16:9 display, which means videos and games just look more natural, more immersive, and honestly just better. That single factor made me rethink which tablet I wanted to reach for day after day. Now let's start with gaming because that's what I do most on tablets. I love remote gaming, and with this Alldocube paired with my GameSir G8 Plus controller, I've been playing Alan Wake 2 remotely, and the experience is so much better here than on the iPad mini. That wider aspect ratio really makes it feel like a handheld console, not just a tablet awkwardly running a PC game. Local games also run well. I've tested GTA San Andreas and even Call of Duty Warzone Mobile. Now, Warzone only runs up to medium settings, but gameplay is smooth and consistent. And thanks to the Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3 chipset paired with 12GB of RAM, I didn't feel like I was compromising at all. Now here's the kicker: because this tablet runs a near stock version of Android, gaming performance actually feels smoother than on my Xiaomi Pad 7, which uses the same chip. So in real-world use, it punches above its weight. For me, it was simple. Gaming feels better here, both remote and local. And that's a big reason why my iPad mini has been gathering dust lately. 90% of my games are just remotely played. Now let's move on to watching videos, because this is where the Alldocube really shines for me. The display is 8.8 inches with a 2560 by 1600 resolution and up to 500 nits of brightness. And side by side with the iPad mini, the difference is pretty shocking. The iPad mini's panel is slightly more saturated, in a good way, but this Alldocube's display is really close in terms of detail and vibrance. And again, because of the 16:9 aspect ratio, it just feels like the screen was made for videos. Whether I'm streaming on YouTube or watching Netflix, the content fills the screen almost perfectly. There are barely any black bars, and that's something I can say about the iPad mini. So while the iPad mini might technically have a slightly better display, the form factor and aspect ratio of the Alldocube make it the better choice for media consumption. Now, I should also mention the build quality, because this thing doesn't feel like a budget tablet. The all-metal chassis with the red accented power button gives it a premium touch. It's sturdy, looks clean, and it's comfortable to hold even during long sessions. Battery life is also respectable. With its 7300 mAh battery, I usually get around 5 to 6 hours of use, and charging takes about 2 hours with a 20-watt fast charger. Nothing groundbreaking, but good enough for my use, and it doesn't really veer away from my iPad mini experience. And yes, there's no audio jack here, but you do get a USB Type-C 3.1 port with support for earphones, OTG, data transfer, 20-watt charging, and even video out with 4K video decoding. But of course, it's not perfect. The speakers sound tinny out of the box, but enabling DTS audio processing with an equalizer tweak improves it a lot. The cameras are functional at best, good enough for video calls, but not much else. The iPad mini leads in these regards by 1,000 miles. Now the software is another area where compromises show. It's near stock Android, which I love for speed and simplicity, but it does come with some hiccups. Sometimes apps freeze or the home swipe gesture lags, though restarting the app usually fixes it. And then there's the software support. Alldocube says they'll provide at least a year or two of updates, aiming for more, but realistically, I'm expecting maybe up to Android 15 or 16 since it currently runs Android 14. Now that's fine for me, but it's not Apple level of longevity. Apple products usually last between 5 to 7 years. Now, so after weeks of switching back and forth, why did I finally put my iPad mini away? It's simple. For gaming, the wider aspect ratio plus smooth performance make the Alldocube a joy to use. For videos, the screen feels almost edge to edge, which is something the iPad mini just can't match with its 3:2 ratio. And for the price, it's a no-brainer. On AliExpress, the higher spec model is around $250. That's significantly cheaper than the iPad mini, which still sells for several hundred more. Yes, the iPad mini still has better long-term software support and slightly punchier colors, but in the things that matter most to me, remote gaming, media consumption, and value for money, the Alldocube iPlay 17 Mini Ultra is simply better. So if you're like me and you use mini tablets mostly for gaming and streaming, the Alldocube iPlay 17 Mini Ultra makes a strong case for itself. It's not perfect, but at this price, with this display and performance, it's honestly the better fit for how I use tablets day to day. And that's why I replaced my iPad mini with this Android tablet. If you're considering picking one up, don't forget, we have exclusive links in the description box where you can check current discounts. But that's it for this one. Drop a sub or like if you feel like supporting the channel. And as always, until the next one, stay safe.